Hi there and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Florentin and this will be a quick review, a quick summary of a great article I just read in this magazine, Illinois Music Educator. And we get this, I guess, quarterly. This is the fall 2018 issue, and some of the main articles in here. This is obviously for music teachers. We have 10 qualities of a great general music teacher, self-directed learning in student ensembles, music educators as policy advocates, building programs, building community. So I really liked the first article up there, and I think it's on page 39. And this is just a brief article about 10 qualities of a good music educator, a good music teacher. Some really great graphics, some awesome pictures of some awesome looking teachers, music teachers at work in their classrooms, some awesome pictures with kids at work in their music classrooms. And you can see I took lots of notes. This is how I read my articles. And there are, this is written by Kimberly McCord. She's a professor of music education at Illinois State University. I don't know this person personally. She currently lives and teaches in Connecticut. So here are just quickly a quick summary of the article: 10 qualities of a great general music teacher. Number one, she says, see the students, and what she means by that is to make your classroom be student-centered, to have your kids be happily engaged as much as possible, and to always be aware of the needs of the children. The second thing she writes about is create a positive environment. And here she gives this great quote that I heard before. I don't know who said it. I need to find out. But the quote is, "All children are innately good. They just sometimes make bad choices." I like that quote a lot. So that's the second thing she writes about. The third thing she writes about is be driven by process, not product. I like that. And here she gives three ideas, and she's saying that your teaching as a music teacher should probably be divided into thirds, into these three categories. And the first one is creating, performing, and responding. And by creating, of course, she means, and here they are on the page if you want to take a look. And by creating, she means when the kids are involved in arranging, composing, and improvising. And I do that a lot. That's great. I totally agree with that. For performing, she here clearly says that she's not only referring to public performances, but even just classroom performances, and that's great, that's awesome. So she doesn't mean just concerts necessarily. And by responding, she's talking about things like active listening, when the children listen to a piece of music and then respond in some way, either by answering questions or doing like a listening map, that sort of thing. So that's great. The fourth thing she writes about, the fourth quality of a great general music teacher, is, she says, study the four main pedagogical approaches. Now I have to be honest, I'm familiar with three out of the four that she mentions here. ORF, I am ORF trained and certified, at least for the first level. I'm familiar with Kodai, even though I'm not certified for Kodai. I'm familiar with Dalcroze, and I'm not familiar with Gordon. I have to be honest, so I have to look that up. So she gives four main pedagogical approaches, and that's the ORF, Kodai, Dalcroze, and Gordon. And maybe I should make a separate video and do a comparison between the four. That would be awesome. The fifth thing that she writes about is include all students in music making. And that there she refers to inclusion. You have students of different abilities, some students with disabilities probably, maybe bilingual students. So she's saying that we should strive to include all of them as much as possible. Obviously, every teacher would agree with that. For number 6, this is kind of cool. She says, use canned curricula only as appropriate. What she means by canned curricula is those books that districts like to buy. I have at least 2 or 3 sets in my classroom, and they're really nice looking, and they're very expensive and very shiny. There's just one problem with them: they really don't work. they really don't work day in and day out. They work for some lessons, maybe for some units, but they really are canned, as she says here, because they're placed in such a strict box, and real lessons in real life are just so different, and kids have such different needs that go far beyond what a book like that would ever offer. So she's talking about commercially developed, like the Macmillan program, and things like that. And I have 3 or 4 really good ones, but I seldom use like a whole lesson unit out of a program like that, because they really don't work for kids, not nowadays anyways. So she says use that only as appropriate. And she says in that paragraph that these are written for for the average school and for average children, which that is true. But how many of us really teach in schools that are the same? How many of us average children in our classroom? We have such different variety of students in our classroom, so that box really doesn't work for all the students. Number 7 is, she says, build on developing and mastered skills. And what she means there, this is a really cool concept that I liked a lot, is that she says, I'll read a paragraph here for you, like a long sentence. She says, do not hold the whole class back once 75 to 80% of students have mastered that skill. Instead, continue to choose activities that include the skill while focusing on a new concept. I really like that, because it's not good to dwell on the same topic for a long time, as long as that's a good percentage. 80% of your kids got it. You try to move on to a different activity and keep focusing on the same concept, maybe repeating it, but in a different way. Number 8, she writes, connect with kids. This is so basic. This is not just the music. This is for all subjects. Here, basically, it's just common sense. She says, find out what your kids like, not what you like. Find out the songs that the kids are listening to. This is a big problem with some of today's music teachers, that, I have no problem with Orff. Orff is great. But Orff songs they're old. And there's nothing wrong with it. Bach is old. Beethoven is old. And that's great. But there's also a lot of new material and new music. And this is a good point to try to find some of the music, at least some of the music that your students really like. Some of the music they listen to when they leave your classroom, and to try to include that in your teaching. That would be really awesome. For example, with my chorus, I teach chorus here, I sometimes, often, almost every year, allow the chorus kids to select at least one of the songs, sometimes even 2 of the selections for our concerts, because then it changes everything when they take ownership of the song, and they get to choose. And of course, I give them guidelines. They can't choose an inappropriate song, obviously, but you get the point. When they get a choice, when you consider what they like, not only what you like. Number 9, she says, create opportunities to experience music. This was one of my favorite ones, and I'll make a little comment about this a little bit later when I'm done. Here she says that it's very helpful to bring accomplished musicians to your classroom and have them demonstrate different instruments, and that's awesome. I'll get back to this in a minute, because I think this article is missing something, and I don't mean any disrespect by saying that, and I'll just get back to this in a second. Number 10, she says, this is really fun, share your playful and joyful side. Here she means that, try to find what kids like to do and do that with them. If the kids like to sing with them. If they like to dance or play, then do that with them. And that's what she says there. So give me 1 second. Somebody's at the door. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Also, the lights went off because we have an automatic switch. So I went to the door, so the lights came back on too. So anyway, but I said, before I wrap this up, I said something about number 9, that the article is kind of missing something, in my opinion, and that is, she says here, the title is 10 Qualities of a Great General Music Teacher. So I think what's missing in this article, my humble opinion, and this is not criticism, I would in no way try to criticize such an educated person as this person who wrote the article. Uh, I think it's missing what many elementary music teachers are missing themselves. Many that I know, and well, some that I know, and many that teach out there, some that I went to school with, for example, and that is their own ability to play a musical instrument really well. That's right. You know, it's one thing to talk about music and to talk to no end about music and this concept and that concept. It's a whole other thing to be able to play music well on an instrument for your students in the class, in general music class. Of course, somebody who teaches band is going to have at least one instrument they're proficient on. But in general music class, there's so many teachers who really can't play well on any one instrument. And here in number 9, she says, bring musicians to demonstrate. Well, that's great. But how about you be that musician? How about you pick up whatever instrument you're good at and demonstrate for the kids? That will bring great things to your lesson, change everything around. So I would probably add that in there. And that's what she means at number 9, except that instead of trying to bring somebody else, I would try to do that myself. I will end this video, I hope it's not too long, by reading the last sentence that she wrote in her article, which is awesome. And she says, we, music teachers, we have the greatest job in the world, getting paid to make music with children. And I totally agree. I'm 100% in agreement with this statement. I totally love my job, and it's awesome to get paid doing what you love to do. In my case, I don't only teach children, I teach lots of adults as well. But this sentence is awesome, and it's an awesome way to finish, to end the article. Anyways, this was a little bit different than what I usually do, but I just read this and I really liked it. And maybe I'll do this from time to time. If you're a music teacher, of any level or any age group or any instrument, feel free to make a comment if you want, or a question. And thank you for watching my video. Right behind me there, that's a lesson that my upper grades this week were doing. You can probably see that in the background. We were trying to create sets of 4 measures in 4/4 meter using quarter notes, quarter rests, pairs of 8th notes in a straight line and leaving space between the measures. That was a pretty great lesson. Maybe I'll show a little demonstration of that. It happens to be on the board right now, so I just wanted to say what that is. Thank you for watching my video today. I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to my channel, you can take a minute to do so. I would appreciate that. Click that bell so you don't miss my uploads. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Have a great Labor Day weekend. See you later. Bye-bye now.